And we're live. All right, guys. I think I may do two of these today. Pretty well ahead on work. I have the free time to get it done. Store's not even open yet that I'd like to walk to in my weight vest to get my conditioning in. So, sit down and do a live stream. And like I said, I'll probably do one this afternoon also. So I don't know how long I'll run this one. But a reminder for those of you who watch these after the fact, which is most of you, remember to subscribe down below. Join my Orc Army. Follow me on Instagram. Use my Amazon affiliate link before purchases. It would all be greatly appreciated. All right. And we'll see how fast this fills up. Less than a minute in, we have 7 people. 6 back and forth. And humanity, please, no nonsense today. All right. It's, again, humanity, I don't think you understood that what you asked me was a really kind of silly question, with the after all the long nonsense questions. Because I would almost say, do you even know what gluconeogenesis is? So it's like, have I experienced it? Well, yeah, I'm a normal human being. Of course I experience it. You experience it all the time yourself. Every time you've overeaten protein, you've experienced it, right? But you can't tell that you're experiencing it. And I'm not hooked up to a lab. All right. So let's see if we get some questions in here. Man, Alexander, you were asking one, but it's you already deleted it. So I don't have any questions yet. Well, it's not enough likes either, George, but we don't have questions yet either. So since we don't have any real questions, I'll talk about the chins. If you guys saw my post on Facebook, because that came up, people are like, you're getting a few less reps on chins in your pull-ups, doing those in the morning. So what's up with that? And yeah, it's a great time to discuss that because I don't listen to country music. So that question's easy enough. Dolly Parton, Charlie Daniels, I guess. But the chins. So a few things going on. Why am I doing chins? I need more bicep. And I kind of pointed that out, better cushion at the bottom of the bench. I'm wide grip benching. Biceps become a very important stabilizer. I'm not answering questions about the C word. Can we stop? Okay. The pandemic's over. This is 2022. That word needs to be struck from your existence completely. But I need more biceps. Be helpful with my bench, especially out of the bottom, especially now that I'm wide grip. Reduces the chance of tearing a bicep as my deadlifts get really strong. Because again, muscle imbalances matter. I'm pretty much going to be at world level deadlifts in competition at this point. All right. Well, Kempton, I'm going to be doing both. Right. We if something is really a lagging muscle, you might want to do 2 things for it. Right. It's a good idea. Common sense. So, but the point is I need more bicep. So let's talk about the fact that I'm going to my full range of motion now. So some people might say, well, you're not locking that. That is the full lockout. That is the full lockout of my elbow joint. And I've proven it to judges in competition to the point where they are allowing me that for the bench press. Okay. It's been ruled by judges that is the full lockout of my elbow. My elbows don't go any further. It's my bone. I'm bone on bone. So I'm going into a deep stretch now on the bicep, on the chin. So I'm doing the full range of motion instead of stopping at the active hang, which puts more stress on the biceps. My lats are way bigger and stronger than my biceps. So actually for me doing the full stretch chins at the bottom, I am actually slightly weaker than I am with an overhand grip pull-up. And it's pretty straightforward. So, but yeah, I'm going to be doing curls tomorrow also to go with all these chins. So let's get over these questions. Jason, do parallel grip pull-ups have any value? Sure. Let's just see some of my clients do them in vlogs. What's the best approach to deload 50%, not training at all, keeping GPP in? Jack, there's no correct answer to that. I vary deloads based upon client needs. Coach, due to work, I can't handle much volume. Is 6 sets of squats, 5-3-1 top set plus 5 by 10 enough for intermediate. What? That's 8 sets. You got a math problem, Benny. Redo your math. 3 plus 5 is 8, not 6. Hey, coach, my little bro, kickboxer with chicken legs, etc. We've already covered him last in a different live stream. Jason, I believe you mentioned in previous stream that 10 to 13 sets for muscle group a week is optimal. I thought it was closer to 20. It's 20. Most people, it's not going to be 20. Maybe for some muscles. Mysterious. Wow, we don't need weird sicko perverts like you in my comments. Bye. You're banned from my channel for life. I watched some of your older videos and never realized how bad the supplement industry is. They use guys on juice to promote overtraining, then sell you pre-workout since lifters are not recovered. Yep. Humanities, okay to overeat on carbs since de novo lipogenesis is inefficient in humans, even though calories and calories, you're still going to get fat. No, humanity, that's a bad approach. I've discussed in videos why it's a bad approach. You're not going to cheat fat gain overeating unless you protein overfeed. That is about the only thing that's going to work. And I bet you're not going to be willing to eat 400 grams of protein a day. Hey, Jason, should I still train if I haven't gotten any sleep to the previous day, or should I skip training? Yeah, you need to slide it down a day and get your sleep caught up. Hey, are we going to see new client logs from client Jackson anytime soon? I can relate to the story of almost losing your life in an accident. I'd love to see how he's doing. Tenno, I would love to see how he's doing too, but he came back on, wanted to do vlogs, didn't finish his first week of training, and he has gone completely MIA for 10 days. You know everything I know about how he's doing. Hey, Jason, her squat slightly above parallel, a decent accessory to build lagging quads if the end portion of the squat is my issue. Nope. You will always build more muscle deeper on squats. Always. Right? The only reason you don't want the bottom is you're scared your glutes might get too big. Well, that shouldn't be a concern, because the glutes will get slightly more stimulus than the quads if you go below parallel, but the quads will also get more stimulus. Every study that's looked at range of motion on squats has found deeper is better. Hold on, I gotta take this text real quick. Be right back, guys. All right. I'm starting to see leverages are a very beneficial attribute. I see the 60 kilogram stick in sex deadlifting 220, and they look like they couldn't crush a can of Coke. I think my leverages must. So, no, dude, at 6'3", you have amazing deadlift leverages. CN, height is always advantageous on the conventional deadlift. Always. Most of those sticks you see with big deadlifts weigh more than you think they do, and they're tall. And beyond 531, Windler suggests 80% for 5x5 back off work. Yeah, you're not doing 80% back off work at 5x5. He probably means for novices. You're not going to do that if you have a strength base. It is, let me put it this way, it is not going to fucking happen. You won't finish it. You'll be dead by set 3. Coach, regarding his chicken legs, can he gain a decent amount of size development while only gaining 5 kilograms in body weight? Seneca, he's going to have to bulk and cut like everyone else. What do you mean only 5 kilos of body weight? Well, you mean 5 kilos of muscle? That would be enormous. You know how much muscle 5 kilos is? Go to a butcher shop and lay out 5 kilograms of meat. 5 kilograms of muscle added to your legs would probably add 100 kilos to his max squat. Jason, what would be a cause and solution for weakness around the elbow joint? I get pain in them when doing upper high intensity or volume that doesn't dissipate fast with active. I don't know what you mean by high intensity or volume. Those, I'm not sure what you mean. You might want to specify that. You have weak tendons. All right. You have weak tendons. How do you find your perfect deadlift stance? Your Darrow stance seems narrow, and usually you have to hire a coach. Skulls. If you don't know enough biomechanics to figure it out, you're going to have to pay someone. It's what I do for a living. I think Benny meant one top set of 5, 3, 1 plus 5 times 3. Yeah, that's 8 sets. Any benefits to having higher carbs on a cut? If you like higher carbs and you function good on it, yes. On a cut, and okay, Steve, no more C questions. That's it. This is now 2022. No one should even be talking about that anymore. It's a dead topic. It's over. Guys, can we get those likes up? There's 3 of you watching. For every like, I'm going to drink water until we see more likes, and I'm not going to answer questions. A few more. Let's get a few more likes. Come on. Come on. There we go. People are dropping out just to try to get the ratio better. There we go. Is training full body 2 times a week optimal? Nope. I don't even need to read the rest of your question. Humanities, why are you asking me basic Google questions? I'd say they do the last warning. That's it. I gave you a last warning yesterday. You were asking me questions that you could look up on Google with a basic nutrition book. I'm not here to teach nutrition 101. This is stuff you should know already. This is like high school level biology. I'm sorry I'm harsh with you, but you're like that, dude. I'm not going to explain thermic effect of food to you. You're getting on my nerves a lot lately. I don't know why I haven't banned you yet. Maybe I'm too nice. Maybe I'm too fucking nice of a person. I have really long legs and a super short torso and short arms. Sumo feels a lot better for me than normal deads. How much will I miss out if I do mostly sumo over normal deads? You won't get as big. You won't get as big. And actually, with really long arms, you sure sumo is better? I mean, you could train both. I would never have anyone only train sumo, though. Conventional is going to put more size on you. If deadlift is advanced, you use 50%, but what if a squat's lagging, you still use 50%, or because it's not advanced? Benj, unless someone's a novice, I usually run them at 50% these days for the boring but big. I very rarely have anyone other than a novice do higher than 50%. Hey, Jason, just switched from 3x5 to 5x5 my stream fitness program. I've been weightlifting consistently for 4 months now. How long should I do that program? Currently at 6'5", working towards 210 at 190 now. Well, I would say when you stall, but you need to have so much weight to gain that if you stall, you just need to keep increasing your calories. Normally, you just run it till you stall, then you go to intermediate programming. Right? But 1.9 at 6'5", you're pretty much a toothpick. At 6'5", even 210 is really, 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 really skinny for a lifter. Like you're still way under your potential. You need to be 230 minimum to even have a base at your height. You could possibly get closer to 300 without even being fat. Coach, I don't count the warm-up sets in 5-3-1. I do. Thoughts on the Texas method? I think it's outdated and it's way behind modern programming. There's better stuff out there. Plus, it's full body 3 days a week. Why would you do that other than as a novice? Do you base the 5 through 60% work off training maxes or actual maxes on conjugate? Things, Jason. We don't base anything on actual maxes. Everything is training maxes. My strength seems to fluctuate more from workout to workout than the regular Joe. You recommend RPH programming, or do you have anything else in mind? Your programming is bad, or your fatigue management is bad. Your strength shouldn't vary. My strength doesn't vary workout to workout in most of my lifters. If it does, something went wrong that week. They didn't sleep for 72 hours or something. Okay. It shouldn't vary. It's not abnormal. Either you have some really bad disease that's causing it, and that would make it abnormal. Otherwise, it's your lifestyle. Your food rest isn't on point. You probably train too much. Your volumes are too high. You're overtraining. Do you think the cube has any advantages compared to 5-3-1? No, but it's just a successful program. What are your thoughts on farmers carries with a hex bar? They work fine. If you can get 8 reps on incline with 100-pound dumbbells with no reps in reserve, should you drop that weight to 90, even if you get 13 with that? I don't know, probably. How big are you that you're able to do hundreds on incline? Are you sure they're full range of motion? And I'm not doubting you. It's just that's relatively rare. I want to make sure you're actually not doing half reps. Now, if you're a 405, 450 bencher, I believe you, by the way. If you bench 315, there's no way you're putting those up for full range of motion on an incline. Is it worth investing in deadlift and squat bars at some point if one doesn't compete? Not necessarily. I thought 5x10 at 50% would be easy. I was wrong. Yelp. Yeah, guys hear that and they're like, oh, what's this? This is so weak. And then they try to do it and they're like crying. I put up screenshots of some of my clients crying, like literally crying to me and whining about the 5x10 deadlifts. You guys remember? It was like, if they die, they die. Coach, I do 3 sets of weighted chins twice per week, Monday and Thursday. Do you think doing them all in one day would have the same effect for gains? 6 one way, half a dozen the other. If weight classes didn't exist and the tallest guys would dominate all sports that have weight classes, right? Both strength sports and combat sports. Yes, Marco. Without weight classes, the tall guys would destroy everybody. Weight classes are height classes in disguise. Also, ratios are even more so. Body weight multipliers are skewed towards 5'3" guys. All right. 5'3" guys have the best body weight multipliers always. They just are disgustingly high. What are some good GPP exercises with minimal equipment? Barbell complexes, kettlebell swings, sled drags. Right? You need some equipment. You need to have something. You could do body weight circuits not to failure. Is training 3 days a week with main lifts being back squat, floor press, and deadlift separated each day volume work coming from SGHP? I don't know what that is. Weighted pull-ups and lunges optimal? No. Floor press is still going to give you less size in the bench for most people. But you do need to do some volume with those other lifts. And why are you only doing those and nothing else? I mean, I see a very, very serious lack of posterior chain work. Coach, your chins are impressive. Do you do them right before a training session? You space it out. Just space it out a few hours. Seneca, dude, I get up and do those at like 2 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. Film it because I wake up. My brain's all crazy like that. And it helps me wind back down and I go back to bed. But I also do some of them later in the day sometimes too. I'm trying to do quite a bit more of the chins through the week. I want to have a minimum of, about 12 sets every week. Any tips for strengthening the muscles and tendons of the ankle and calf? Seems important for preventing injuries like shin splints, stress fractures if you're a sport, squats and deadlifts. Keith, I appreciate the donation. If I have plates, bar, rack, what are the top 3 to 5 next pieces of equipment for you to buy? I'm a novice, not doing any H sport other than lifting. Honestly, I like glute ham raisers and reverse hypers. Hey, those are usually pretty high priorities. You've got the basics, though. You've got the basics. So I would look into specialized posterior chain equipment like that if you really want to get strong. Maybe adjustable dumbbell handles to look into eventually. Some bands. But quite frankly, I could get you pretty jacked and strong just what you have, even as a coach. Hit 315 on squats a day, thinking of bulking till I hit 405. Still very lean. Is it doable without getting fat as fuck? Much love from Norway. Yes. Bulking doesn't automatically mean you get fat. You determine how fat you get. Okay. When you're bulking, you make an individual choice of how fast you want to gain. Okay. Because bulking just means gaining weight for the purpose of gaining muscle. You get to pick the rate that you gain by measuring your food and weighing yourself every day. So you have complete control. And 405, squat is not crazy by any means. Do you have any weight vest recommendations? A lot of the ones I look at seem to not be able to store more than 50 pounds. Humanities, why do you need more than 50 pounds? It's all mine goes to. Mine goes to 42, and I love it. I love it. I have the Rogue one. Coach, if your GPP is near elite, does hitting the heavy bag for 15, 20 minutes every day impact your ability to gain? Every day, the heavy bag for 20 minutes, it might impact your upper body muscle. Oh, snatch grip, high pull. Okay. Yeah. Oliver, you're going to have a weak posterior chain and be prone to injuries with what you wrote now. I mean, maybe the deadlifts might cover you with enough volume, but it's not perfectly balanced. Midnight shins are the ultimate Sigma male. I consider that an insult because Sigma male is just another code for betas who don't want to admit they're betas. Coach, do you think those really low weight classes for fighters should be eliminated considering how low it goes to like average height guys fighting in the 140s? No, Jay, sports are sports. Right? I don't have a problem with all those weight classes existing. I think people over freak out about what should be allowed in sports. Right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just like powerlifting, I don't have a problem with the current grip with rules. I don't have a problem with 24-hour weigh-ins. No one should care about this stuff. People bitching about nothing. Some guys want to be that lean and skinny. That's their business. What are some ab exercises you recommend? Thanks a lot for these, man. Really helpful. I like hanging leg raises. I like normal crunches, weighted crunches, standing crunches with bands, weighted planks. Although my favorite is the hanging leg raise. Marco, yes, pretty much. I realized Mad Cows was not good many years ago. I started realizing it was not that great. 531 is probably better for the same demographic. Is it normal for paint on road calibrated plates to crack and start chipping? Mine never have. Coach, I want to be a serious powerlifter, but hate training legs because I substitute squats for wrist curls. Bye. You don't get to post on my channel ever again. Bye. When cutting, would it not be better to do 5s pro instead of 531 per set? I don't know. It's up to you. I have a lot of guys do 5s without pro because they're not really going to get significantly stronger on a cut. When would you move from 5x10 pull-ups to 5x11, 5x12, etc.? Is it just not much? Steve, if you can do them with reps in reserve. If you can do 5x12 without hitting failure, then that's when you should do it. What's an example of a normal ratio on strength for Pendlay rows conventional deadlift? There isn't one. Zeus, I know you meant that with the Sigma because a lot of circles, they're throwing the Sigma male thing around. I actually make fun of it. I actually make fun of friends of mine who post that stuff on social media, by the way. Either you're at the top of the food chain or you aren't. The idea that, I can be outside the food chain, that's not how male hierarchy works. There is a strict pecking order. You learned that on the playground and as a child. You learned that already. You don't get to exist outside the pecking order. That means you're at the bottom. Thanks, Coach. I'm 6'1", 147 pounds of today, planning on putting on 30 pounds over the next year. I think that would be wise. All right. Get rid of these people. Get rid of the trolls. Do you like the Larson press as an accessory lift? No. And I'm not saying muscularly it's not decent. I'm saying there's no real benefit you couldn't get from another move without risking tearing your pecs. I think it's a high risk to your pecs for no real reason. So I'm not really a fan. I have friends who love it. I have guys who are really strong benchers who love it. I'm personally not a fan for those reasons. Coach, for a lifter who has been lifting 13 years and wants a slow bulk while gaining minimal fat, what is the minimum daily calorie surplus? You're not going to be able to track 300 calorie surplus. Track scale weight Seneca. Okay, stop worrying about, I say this all the time, by the way, so I kind of think it's weird that people ask me that. I don't ever prescribe a number of calorie surplus or deficit. I prescribe weight gain and weight loss based on the scale and bumping and adjusting your calories up or down based on your weekly scale change. Because you can't measure 300 calories. You can't measure 300 calories. You don't have the technology in your home to do it. All right, you're plus or minus 10% no matter what you do. So your 3,000 calories weight on a digital scale is 2,700 to 3,300 with the best technology you can afford as a non-billionaire. I'm loving the J on press for tricep. What's your favorite? Various types of extensions that go through a full range of motion. I don't like skull crushers. They beat your elbows up eventually. What's your current stance on glute bridges versus hip thrusts? How are they? I don't have a current stance. They're okay. I use them some, but I don't always use them a lot. for clients, but I think they're good movements. It's just that I think other things can bring a lot more to the table if you have access to the right equipment. Hi, Jason. Stopped by to say thanks for your contributions to lifting on YouTube. Appreciate it, brother. Did you see Cody Leafver's G's? I don't know what any of that means. Sorry. If he's going to call something that complicated, he's already got a name that's hard to say. Why is he going to call it GZC? That's just terrible. It probably isn't a good method just because the name is so bad. And I don't know who that is, by the way. Is 4 weeks enough for a mini cut? Quit thinking in terms of mini cuts and think in terms of bulking and cutting goals. I don't like words like mini cut and mini bulk. Lose the amount of weight you want to lose. Why do you need to give it a special name? What's the difference between a mini cut and say cutting 2 pounds or 3 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever you want to cut? Shouldn't it be the amount you want to cut, not the time? That's just silly. Hey, coach, for someone who squats with a wider than shoulder width stance, should toes be pointed more forward instead of out, or is toe angle? Very few people can reach depth with toes forward. So most people need toes out. And if you're wide, you definitely want those toes out. Do you see? Look at my squat this week. Look at that 3-inch below parallel squat I did this week with 505 for non-max. Where are my toes? What's my stance look like? Super wide, toes out. I can't get into a tight position on conventional deadlift without hurting myself between my legs. I have to go out to a narrow sumo for it to not happen. Is there a form fix? James, I can't see your form. Benny, how often do you weigh your clients? I've never weighed my clients. They weigh themselves. I tell them to weigh every morning, but some of them forget to do it for 9 months straight. I think every human being should weigh themselves first thing every morning on the face of the earth, just like I think every human being should lift weights. Jason, are you familiar with Jack Spirko? Nope. Host of Survival Pods. I get the impression you enjoy his content and he is very knowledgeable. Nope, never heard of him. What program would you recommend for someone working out at home 3 days a week? I weigh 176 and have a 440 deadlift. No one cares what your trap bar deadlift is. 168 log press and a 230 floor press. Any good strength program will build you from where you are. All right. You're kind of in that intermediate range. Although that trap bar looks really weak, man, compared to your thing, I'd expect you to have a 650 trap bar if you can pull 440 on a conventional. Is some sort of Windler's method using tier 1 to, I don't know what that means. Are you not a fan of jam press anymore, but it's hard on the elbows? Yeah, I don't think it builds triceps any better, and it's hard on the elbows. And it's not a bad exercise. It's just that it is tough on the elbows, and I don't think the wear and tear is worth it, honestly, at this point, unless you've really invested a lot of time into building up your elbows. Even guys like Mike, we've taken it out, and he admits his elbows feel better. Coach, what is the fastest a skinny lifter can gain weight if he's okay with getting a bit of fluffy, not wanting to get fat, but no interest in keeping my abs for now? Kithrer, my client Robbie, we gained 3 pounds a month for the first 6 to 9 months I was coaching him. He still didn't get fat. Thank you for the answer, Coach. Have a nice day. You're welcome. I weigh myself first, then I go down 2.5 cups of water to aid my digestion. I use GZC. God, that is so fucking hard to say. And jacked and tan was decent, but 531 is better. Yeah. None of that means anything. I mean, I know what the words jacked and the words tanned mean, but using them as a program name, I don't know what that is, dude. Sorry, guys. Well, the questions have slowed down. So I'm going to drink some water till we get some likes and some more questions. Or did I lose my connection or something? Like people stopped posting. Is there anything gym bros do that you agree with? The list would be too long for me to give. We don't have 6 hours. Gym bros get a lot of things right. They just get a lot of things wrong. But future, maybe you should ask specific questions instead of vagaries, because I don't have an answer to that. How about the fact that they lift weights? How about the fact that they eat lots of protein? Yeah, all that stuff's good. I mean, if we're going to go down to the vaguest interpretations of the question, they go to the gym consistently. They blast gear. Blasting gear is a great way to get bigger. Before I got on the cut, should I add 25 minutes a day for cardio and see if tears some of the fat off first? Well, that would be part of going into a cut. What do you mean before you go into a cut? If you add cardio and you keep your food the same, you just went into a cut. Your diet's going to make a bigger difference, though, than adding any work, by the way. It's going to make a way bigger difference. Hi, Coach. How's it going? What's your thoughts on farmer strength, old man strength? I don't have thoughts on it. Strength is strength. Some of that manual labor can carry over. It can help with your GPP. I think it can. I know plenty of people who do that sort of work who put up big lifts. It won't build your strength by itself. I don't see anybody deadlifting 700 pounds purely from building fences. Let's put it that way. Can I start adding hypertrophy exercises to your 5A program for more muscle progress? No, there's already too much in there. Martin, don't write your own programs until you have experience. A decade of experience, I say, is minimum to write your own programs. You're going to fail. I stopped trap bar deadlifting as I felt in my mid traps too much and just like block pulls using an Olympic bar. Would you recommend 5-3-1 3 days a week or starting strength? Oliver, you deadlift 440. Why would you run starting strength? You've been lifting more than 12 weeks, right? So why would you run starting strength? Why would you run a novice program? 5-3-1 would be fine. And I'm not saying you have to run 5-3-1. I like it as a template. But I mean, I put my people on different variations of stuff using the same principles. I like 5-3-1 because it's proven and the principles behind it are sound. Right? It's very sound and it's concurrent training. Hi, Jason. It's been a while since the last informative video. You're planning on coming back to those? I've answered this way too much in typing and in speaking. You already know the answers. You get those when I'm out of town. You get those when I'm on vacation. I still have breakfast chats. I will not be making another breakfast chat again. I cut them off last year. I haven't even uploaded all of them yet. Sorry if you've been asked, what are the benefits of electrolytes in your water? Is it flavoring? No, it's the electrolytes, Steve. Muscle hydration, performance, especially lower carbs. Again, go to Google, type in the word keto salts or keto electrolytes. You will spend the next hour of your life reading stuff by medical doctors and nutritionists who explain it to you. Yes, if you're low carbing at all, you want to add electrolytes to what you do. It's probably more important than any other supplements you could take. In fact, you can cut all your other supplements out usually for the most part because you don't need vitamins and things. You do need electrolytes. But even people who aren't doing low carb diets, adding potassium and magnesium and stuff to your diet can have very clear performance benefits. Do you have any advice on convincing female loved ones to get under a barbell? Show them the research. That's all you need to do. Show them the research on cancer, osteoporosis, all this stuff. And simply explain to them already that they're not going to look like a female bodybuilder if they don't inject themselves every day with a syringe. It's no chance of it happening. Sorry if you covered this for your thoughts on winning wormouts. No, I'm not a fan. Not trying to write, and I've covered it in about 6 other live streams. I'm not trying to write my own program from what I've seen. I want to do supplemental hypertrophy work. It's already loaded with too much. Martin, the 5x5 program for many people has too much hypertrophy work already. It has too much for a lot of people. Why would you add to it? It's not good. You may need to take some of it out. Jason, how much of an advantage do you notice from going to a power bar to a deadlift bar? None. I don't get a single pound out of the deadlift bar in terms of my strength. Because look how fast I am off the floor, Brandon. Everyone notices that. My bar speed off the floor is crazy good. I don't stick off the floor. I don't get anything out of it. It's easier on the grip, though. right? It's better for grip strength. In other words, I don't have to be as strong on my grip to hold it, but as far as the actual movement, Nasaj, I don't give you guys updates on any of that. You need to just quit or I'm going to ban you. All right. In your experience, do you find the bench lags behind squat and deadlift when someone runs 5-3-1? Maybe weekly bench volume needs to be higher. What do you mean? Why would you think that, Dean? No, I know plenty of guys with elite benches who only bench once a week. Look at some of my people like Isaac, who only does any pressing once a week on this similar type programming. His bench is technically slightly ahead of his squat and deadlift. So no, I don't find that to be the case at all. Would you recommend conjugate or 5-3-1 for someone who just works out for health benefits? I'd lean more towards 5-3-1. Conjugate is intensive, is equipment intensive, and most people who just want to work out for health aren't going to drop thousands of dollars in extra equipment. And they're not going to want to learn to use bands and stuff. Magnesium definitely helps with my sleep, and I don't get cramps anymore. A lot of people benefit from supplementing magnesium. Are there any benefits to bench accessories like slingshot bench? I don't think the slingshot is useful. Spoto press, pin bench. My bench doesn't seem to go up for some time. Depending upon the person, the Spoto press or the pin bench may have benefits, but only if they address your personal weak links. If they don't, and you put a bunch of recovery time into them, you may get weaker. If they address your weak links, you'll probably get stronger. Be very careful with pin bench as far as overuse and beating up your joints, though. How did you get Mikey's legs so jacked? By lifting weights. Proper programming, future. It's like asking me how did I get my legs so jacked? My legs are bigger than his. You just may not realize it because of my tallness. I'm probably taller than he is. It's called lifting weights with correct programming. Any idea if or when the ebook is coming out? Nope, I've never even started it. Amo, I haven't decided what year I will start the first sentence of it. Hey, Jason, what would you do different when you were younger again? What? No. Nicholas, I don't like hypotheticals like that because they're impossible. I don't like things that are non-practical, and there's no practicalness for me to do that unless I built a time machine. And here's the problem: if I built a time machine, if I went back and changed the past, I would also change the future in which I decided to go back and change the past also. Actually, we would create a giant paradox, and it might just kill me. I don't know. I could die. The whole universe could implode. You see a problem with this? Like, do you want me to cause an end to the whole universe by creating a paradox with a time machine? Or you guys come up with this silly shit? All right. WrestleMania was in Texas this past weekend. Are you into that? WrestleMania. What is WrestleMania? That's WWF, right? Last time I watched WWF, I was about 8 years old. So I'm 45 now. So I was into it 37 years ago. Then I became a man. Time control always confuses me. Well, time travel should confuse you. One of my orcs asked, need to get my 10K 6.2 miles run time to sub 46 minutes for an elite forces job in Queensland. Also, want to stay strong as possible. Any tips? Or you're going to have to run more. You're going to have to run more. And while you're focusing on that, you may have to just maintain your strength training. You may need a maintenance program there. Okay. If someone was in a gym and needed some variation for pec volume, would using the hammer strength press be fine? Future, they don't have dumbbells. Can't use a decline bench. All right. I'm not really, I don't see what you would get out of the hammer strength machine. Less muscle growth? I don't know. You want to be locked in a fixed angle? You want it to be awkward to get into full range of motion positions? I don't understand why you would want to use it. There's plenty of other things that will build your pecs that don't require you to use a giant machine that just takes up a bunch of space and locks you into a fixed plane. I'm not saying it's terrible. I just don't see why you wouldn't have something better that would give you other benefits. Like a dumbbell press. Do you think tall guys have an advantage to gain strength in deadlift when cutting? We don't ever have an advantage to gain strength while cutting. No one does. Tall guys have an advantage on the conventional deadlift, though. Yes. Look at Bjorn Halfthor, however we say his name. 6'8", strongest deadlift ever pulled in the history of the world. Tells you everything. Jason, would you say Jeremy Ether has good info for lifting? No. Not really. It's a small guy who only trains his arms, doesn't train any other muscle in his body other than his arms, clearly, has no legs, no back, who reads studies out loud to you and still makes no progress. Okay? The ability to read an EMG study does not make your information good or make you a coach. Not that I've even paid attention to anything he's done, but he's in my feed all the time on social media. I can't tell that he even lifts other than curls. So what good advice is it do you think he's putting out? That he thinks that you need 6 different tricep exercises because of some EMG study while ignoring biomechanics? What's he going to tell you that's good? To not squat so you can have small legs? The guy clearly doesn't train his lower body. Like, how is this useful to you to get bigger and stronger? So I don't really understand where this is coming from. Is decline bench or dumbbells bad for shoulders? No. Do you have any of your clients do decline bench with a barbell or usually with dumbbells? Both. At least Jeff Nippert is pretty strong, right? Yeah, Jeff actually isn't that bad. Jeff Nippert isn't that bad. That would be a viable, question. That would be a viable one. If someone says, is Jeff okay? Yeah, Jeff's all right. Thoughts on Bulgarian light? Well, considering I ran it for 7 months and said I would never run it again and never prescribe it to anyone, and you watched me do it on camera for 7 months and then say, fuck this, what do you think I think about Bulgarian light? I struggle with straight sets. I end up dropping 1 or 2 reps each set. Am I using? You're going too heavy. Why are you starting so heavy? What do you choose to compete in powerlifting and not Olympic lifting? Nicholas, because first of all, only one of those is a pure strength sport, and that's powerlifting. All the others measure other attributes. Number 2, powerlifting is by far the biggest strength sport. Nothing else is even close. So if you want to actually be really judged on your strength, you need to compete in the largest sport with the largest field. Right? Largest sport and the largest field. Powerlifting has more competitions and more competitors than all other strength sports combined. Okay, it is the most popular, so it's what everyone competes in. The others are all more or less fringe by comparison. And strength lifting is the smallest strength sport they've ever come up with, and it's not going to take off. I don't hate Greg Knuckles. I have political issues with Greg Knuckles. I don't hate him. I just don't like his politics. For those unaware, Greg is a very, very far left social justice warrior. If you're not aware of that, you may not be. Is there a continuum on the extent of muscle memory based on factors like the amount of muscle you had in the past or how many times you've trained? James, we don't know. We don't have data on that. We don't really know. All right, guys, so here's what I'm going to do, because I'm probably going to do a second one of these later, and I want to get ready to get some other stuff done. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down at 45 minutes. So I'll try to make a second one of these later today because my day is pretty caught up, unless I have some people send me some more workouts that I need to adjust and any vlogs I need to do. So I hope it's been informative. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time.